All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about a trend that's really changing how people use their homes, and that's the garden room. But look, this isn't just about sticking a shed at the bottom of the garden. Oh no, it's about creating a high-quality, honest-to-goodness extension of your living space. So today, we're going to break down what separates a genuinely valuable asset from, well, a costly backyard mistake.
So, let me ask you something. Does this sound at all familiar? You're hunting around the house for a quiet corner to get some work done, a dedicated spot for your hobby, or maybe just a place to breathe, away from the chaos of the main house? Yeah, that search for more space, it's a real thing. And that's exactly where the garden room steps in.
And the best part, the sheer versatility is just incredible. I mean, we're talking about a fully fledged home office you can use all year round that can literally transform your work-life balance. Or how about a garden gym with a properly reinforced floor that can actually handle real heavy equipment? It could be a beautiful light-filled art studio, a professional beauty salon right in your backyard, or even a super flexible, cozy guest room. The possibilities, they're pretty much whatever you can dream up.
But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? This is a big one. Not all garden rooms are made the same, not even close. It is so easy to get tempted by what looks like a quick, cheap solution, but trust me, that path is often full of hidden traps. So let's pull back the curtain on some of those common nightmares you really need to avoid.
Okay, look at this. The contrast here is just wow. The promise, it's so tempting, right? Quick, low-cost space, a simple solution. But then, the reality hits you. Weak foundations that cause the whole thing to twist and crack. Insulation that's so bad the room is freezing in winter, and an oven in the summer, basically useless for half the year. And that misleading advice on planning rules, that could get you in some serious trouble. The key takeaway here is simple. A cheap build will almost always cost you way more down the road.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? The whole point is to make your home and your life better. The absolute last thing you want is a building that starts falling apart after a few years and just turns into a constant headache and a money pit. You have to see it as an investment, because that's exactly what it should be.
So how do you dodge all those problems and actually get it right? Well, the answer is actually pretty straightforward. A quality garden room needs to be built just like a real house. Let's dig into the blueprint for what that actually looks like.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts from the ground up. Proper foundations are completely non-negotiable. We're not talking about some generic slab they just plunked down. No, we're talking about a structurally sound base that is engineered specifically for your garden, for your ground conditions. That's the secret sauce that makes sure your room stays stable and secure for decades.
All right, next up, insulation. This is the real game changer. This is what takes a building from a glorified shed and turns it into a genuine, four-season room. High-spec insulation means the space is actually comfortable. It's warm and cozy in the winter, and it's nice and cool in the summer. It makes it a practical, usable part of your home, no matter what the weather's doing outside.
And this focus on quality has to run through every single detail. We're talking a solid timber structure, not flimsy panels. You get proper plaster finishes inside, just like in your house. Then you've got durable cladding on the outside, top-notch energy-efficient doors and windows, and of course the whole thing is fully wired with electrics, heating and lighting. It's not just a room, it's a fully functioning space, ready to go from day one.
And the result of all that quality? Well, you get happy people. You don't have to take my word for it. This testimonial from James says it all. My new home office is incredible and has completely changed how I work. See? That's the end game. A space that doesn't just fill a need, but actually makes your daily life better. So, building the structure right is one half of the puzzle. The other half? It's all about how the project is managed, professionally, from that very first chat to the day they hand you the keys. A quality building deserves a quality process to match. A professional approach should feel this simple and, transparent. It all kicks off with a site visit so they can understand exactly what you're after. Then you get a clear design, and this part's crucial, a fixed price. No scary hidden costs jumping out at you later. And finally, the build itself is handled by experienced pros, and it's usually all done and dusted in just a few weeks. And hey, remember that nightmare scenario we talked about with the dodgy advice on regulations? Well, a professional company tackles that head-on. You get honest, clear guidance on all the planning and building rules before you ever sign on the dotted line, so you have total peace of mind. Absolutely no surprises.
And this feedback from Sarah just perfectly sums up what that experience should feel like. Professional, tidy, and finished on time. That attention to detail, that's what separates a pretty good job from a truly excellent one.
It's the hallmark of a real specialist. So, when you look at the cost of a bespoke garden room, it's so important to frame it the right way. You're not just buying a thing. You're making a real, long-term investment in your property and, frankly, in your own lifestyle.
Let's make this real for a second. Here's a price example from the source's own calculator. For a solid 4 by 3 meter room, built properly with all the essentials we've been talking about, you're looking at around £16,000. And that's not some random number. It's a direct reflection of the quality of the materials, the skill, and the craftsmanship that goes into it.
Which brings us right to the final and most important question of all. When you invest this kind of money, what are you actually getting for it? Because it's a whole lot more than just 4 walls and a roof.
And here it is. This is the bottom line. What you're paying for is a permanent, valuable extension of your home, a space that's designed just for you, built to the highest standards, and one that's going to serve you and your family for decades. So really, the question isn't whether you can afford a cheap garden room, it's whether you can afford not to invest in a quality one.